is all of our patriotism. So the starting point is that I've got a stake in other people. And I've got a set of responsibilities towards others, not just towards myself, and that those mutual responsibilities, those obligations have to express themselves not just through our churches and our synagogues and our mosques and our temples, not only in our own families, but they have to express themselves through our government. That, I would argue, is part of what created this amazing country that we live in. We tend to tout our individualism and our self-reliance, and those are important things. But we also arrived at this place because we rose and fell together. And I think it's that spirit that's been lost in our politics over the last several years. So my starting point as president is to restore that sense that we are in this together. That's the starting point. And faith informs that. My moral commitments to that vision of what Dr. King called a beloved community grows out of my faith. Now, how do we then realize that faith? How do we make sure that it actually lives, that it's not just something that we talk about? A couple of things that we have to do is to fix our politics. And we have to get beyond what Dr. King called the either-or mentality and embrace the both-and mentality. And our politics has exacerbated this notion of either-or. So we say either people are entirely responsible for their own lot, and this tends to be expressed within Republican circles, but not entirely. Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, act responsibly, act morally, a great emphasis on private morality, or conversely, that individuals aren't responsible, society is acting on them and they are not free agents. And my attitude, and I think the attitude of every religious leader and scholar that I value and listen to, is that we have these individual responsibilities and these societal responsibilities. And those things aren't mutually exclusive. So what does that mean concretely? It means that in education, a starting point for me in lifting people out of poverty, partly because I'm where I am today because of the education that I received. I think in terms of what are our government responsibilities, early childhood education. We know that if we invest $1 in early childhood education, we get $7 back in reduced dropout rates, improved reading scores, reduced delinquency, increased graduation rates. The reason we don't make those investments is not because they don't work, it's because we lack the political will. We don't think those children are deserving of a good education, although we won't say that explicitly. Our actions indicate it. Making sure that one of my major commitments would be to make sure that we're expanding early childhood education to everybody who needs it. And by the way, that starts before pre-K, 0 to 3. There's wonderful programs that I'm going to be putting forward as models for what we can do nationally, where nurses are matched up with at-risk parents, particularly teenage parents, just so that they can be shown, how to provide proper nutrition to their child, how to read to them, how to play with them, how to engage with them, so that they are equipped when they get to school. So that would be an example of government action. At the same time, if we're going to improve our education system, then we're going to have to instill our children a sense of excellence and a sense of delayed gratification. That's where individual responsibility comes in, and religion speaks to that as well. Just one other example that I want to use is on the criminal justice system. We have ex-offenders who are coming out of prisons constantly, thousands each and every day. We're going to have to make a commitment to provide them a second chance. There's a biblical injunction that I see to make sure that those young men and women have an opportunity to right their lives. And that will require a government investment in transitional jobs, because in some cases the private sector won't hire people.
Senator?
I know this is getting
No,
long.
you've got 15 minutes.
Okay.
You can spend them any way you'd like.
Well, this
we
is
got
important.
a lot of questions. I understand. Just
The,
give me a time cue.
I want to make sure we get this up. So we've got to invest in transitional jobs because the private sector may not be willing to initially hire somebody who's got a felon record. We may need to provide them the job training support that they are not currently getting. The notion that we take away educational programs in the prisons to be tough on crime makes absolutely no sense. And we need to invest in that. And I have to say that I'm very proud of the fact that we've seen some of my Republican colleagues, informed by the evangelical movement, embrace this notion of providing second chances. And they're to be applauded. This is an area where I think we can get past the left and right divide. Finally, the last thing I just want to point out is on the issue of work and poverty. One of the things that happened after welfare reform was that we made sure that everybody had to work at some point. Unfortunately, we didn't lift them out of poverty. We've got a lot of people who work and are still impoverished, and so we've got to make work pay. That means that we've got to increase the minimum wage.
Senator, I'm going to stop you there because we have one final question that I need to ask from the Sojourners. Yes, we do. So if you don't mind, I know, and I know. I hear you. I know, I get it, but you have 1 minute left to answer this question. It's an online question from Sojourners, and we actually are obligated to ask this. They invited online support, and the question came from Reverend T. Randall Smith. He's a senior pastor at Deer Park United Methodist in Deer Park, Texas. He asked this: executive salaries are increasing by 300% in recent years. Ordinary workers' salaries remain stagnant. Specific policies, and you have 1 minute. How do you address that, haves and have-nots?
Well, we've got a bill in right now that says at minimum shareholders should take a look at these executive pay scales, and they should be able to vote on whether these are appropriate or not. That, I think, would provide some constraint. I also like to see executives recognize that when they're getting as much in one day as their average worker is getting in an entire year, that there is a moral element to that, that's problematic. But look, America is a land of success, and that's terrific. We just want to make sure that people are sharing in the burdens and benefits of this global economy.
That's going to be the final word, Senator.
Thank you.
You're out of time. Thank you so much.
That was so short.
When you go on for a long time. We're going to go off this way, Senator. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Up next, Senator Hillary Clinton's going to join us live. Plus,